slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, speaking fast, I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams and some honestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead I say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go, make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible, but they're always possible. If you just believe, you could be so remarkable.
Thoughts in my head, a collage and they spread. I'll be great one day, going off of my meds. No, I'm not giving up, no, I'm not giving in. I will make it to the top, taking off in the wind. I gotta make it, I'm saving every day to taste it. I'm patient, but my mind, it can hardly take it. I'm chasing a dream that I've had for several ages. A vacant, modern kingdom for the taking.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? What's going on? It's DFJ Hoops here. I ain't been on this show in a minute, but we back live in effect. We about to call this game. Sixers Spurs. Sixers at home. This will be the last matchup before Christmas. So the starting lineup for the Sixers is Maxey, Oubre, George, KJ Martin, and Joel Embiid. And the Spurs got Chris Paul, Devin Vassell, Harrison Barnes, Jeremy Sohan, and Victor Wembanyama. All right, here come the Spurs. Here's Wemby. Passes to Vassell. Vassell uses the Wemby screen as he drives. Embiid switches onto him. He shoots. And the foul was called on the floor. Now so far the Sixers they've had a very, very inconsistent season with guys in and out the lineups. Guys that are playing, guys that are on the floor have been inconsistent as well with their plays. The coaching has been up and down. So it'll be very, very interesting for the Sixers to pick up this victory. But we'll see. The Spurs, on the other hand, they've been playing so good. 2 games over 500. They didn't have the same team from last season, so that's why they were as terrible. But this year, they got a much better team with the addition of Chris Paul, Harrison Barnes, and just a few moves they made in the offseason. But Devin Vassell at the charity stripe will take one more shot, as the first one was up and good, as Chris Paul has some words with Joel Embiid. And Chris Paul, I'm not the biggest Chris Paul fan, but you got to show him respect for what he's done in this NBA. So, a huge shout out to Chris Paul. But here come the Sixers. Here's Maxey as Sohan picks him up with the shiny green hair, as Maxey passes to George. George uses the Embiid screen. George, and the free throw line jumper is good. Sixers up by 2. And Paul George can Paul George can play this good if if everything is going well for him, right? I think for Paul George, he has to, start the game off good for him to have a very good game. If he starts out like 2 for 9, yeah, he's not gonna have a good game. But when shots are falling this easier for him, it just opens up everything for him. As KJ gets a steal and passes to Embiid, here's Embiid, and Wemby picks him up as he found KJ, and KJ passes back to Embiid for 3, and that 3-pointer is good. And Wemby gets stripped as here comes Maxey off the steal, passes to KJ. KJ goes up, misses. Embiid got the rebound, but Harrison Barnes was right there to get it from him. As here's Vassell shoots a corner 3-pointer, and that 3 is good. So Sixers have a 2-point lead as they look to score in this possession right here. And here's Embiid. Embiid passes to Maxey. Maxey drives. Maxey goes up, finishes over Sohan. And that was a great take from Tyrese Maxey, and he can make those all night. As here come the Spurs, and Wemby will try a 3-pointer, as that 3-pointer was no good, as Maxey comes up with the rebound. As Embiid battles down low for position, as Wemby on him, Embiid, and Sohan goes into double team, as Embiid finds Kelly Oubre at the top of the key. He shoots, misses, and Wemby comes up with the board. So Paul will push it up the timeline as Maxey picks him up, as Paul drives, and Embiid switches onto him as Wemby screens for Paul, and Paul goes up, and the free throw line jumper is no good as Kelly Oubre came up with the board. As here's Kelly, finds Embiid, Embiid pump fakes, shoots, and that 3-pointer is off as Chris Paul pushes the break, and Paul George picks him up. The Spurs will try a 3-pointer, and that 3-pointer is no good as the Sixers go the other way. And both teams so far are struggling from the 3-point line as the Sixers are 1 for 4, 1 for 5 now as Maxey missed the 3. And he misses another one as they got the offensive rebound. But here come the Spurs as Sohan pushes to Wemby. Wemby out to Sohan on the slot. Sohan drives. Sohan goes up and scores. And Jeremy Sohan is he's a fearless player. Not the most flashiest, not the skilled player, but he's he's a good utility piece in my opinion. As here come the Sixers, here's Maxey, and Sohan has the matchup tonight as Maxey finds George, and Vassell picks him up. George down low. George goes up, gets fouled, and he will head to the charity stripe for 2. Yeah, you want Paul George being aggressive going downhill, especially with Devin Vassell on him, right? You want Paul George. I mean, Paul George has almost everything in his bag, has the strength, has the skill, so you definitely want him to take advantages of those mismatches, in my opinion. But, yeah, great take from Paul George as he's at the free throw line. And the first one is up and good. 10-7 as the Sixers have a 3-point lead, and Paul George can push it up to 4. And George misses the second one as Wemby comes up with the rebound, and he pushes it up. Finds Sohan. Sohan to Wemby. Wemby will try a 3, and that 3-pointer is off as George corrals the miss as KJ runs, goes up. Thought he got fouled right there, but no call as the Spurs go the other way. 5-on-4 opportunity. Wemby finds Sohan. Sohan goes up, and the layup is good. And the Spurs cut the lead to 1 point as here's Embiid. Embiid finds George, top of the key. And Paul George splashes a 3-pointer and pushes the lead up to 4 as the Spurs will call a quick time to talk it over. Now it's been a struggle for both teams offensively. They're missing shots. Teams are missing some wide open looks. The Sixers are getting offensive rebounds, but you definitely want to put together some good offensive possessions in a row, in order to get into some sort of offensive rhythm. So, and hopefully the Spurs can look to do the same thing. But um, Sixers up by 4 at the Wells Fargo Center. Last game ahead of Christmas, the Sixers take on the Boston Celtics on Christmas, 5 p.m. Eastern time, which I believe they're going to lose that game. So uh, we'll definitely call it, but the Sixers will lose that game. Now, if they win, that's cool, but I think they're losing that game. But great action so far from the Sixers. I want to see them make more shots. I want to see them get more opportunities, especially under the basket, because what they can do is they can get Wemby as far as from the basket, because he's the rim protector, he's a defender. So if you can get him on if you can get him on the perimeter as much, then yeah, you can have a lot of opportunities down low. And if you get him on the perimeter, you can have Tyrese Maxey have a wide open drive to the basket and finish in, or you can have Paul George, mismatching on Chris Paul or Devin Vassell or any other player on that team. But yeah, I think the Sixers will be fine. The Sixers will definitely be fine. But to start off, Maxey, you know, not shooting a 3-pointer any good, but I believe he would get into a sort of a rhythm. But shout out to Tyrese Maxey. He struggled to start the season off, but I think as of right now, he's kind of like getting into he's finding his rhythm. Right, he's starting to make shots and he's starting to score the ball more efficiently. So, shout out to Tyrese Maxey. We always knew he had that in him. And Tune in Sports, you talking about Darius Garland better than Tyrese Maxey? No, he isn't. He's not better than Maxey, bro. He's not. All right, it's over. We just give it up. Yeah, shout out to TuneIn Sports, man. Shout out to TuneIn Sports. Smash the like button as y'all come in. Smash the like button. Smash the like button as we call the Sixers and Spurs game. The Sixers at home taking on the Spurs before or ahead of Christmas. Sixers up by 4. As the Spurs call time to talk it over. I mean, the Spurs, they've been good, right? The Spurs have been good. I mean, even though I'm a Chris Paul hater, I ain't never gonna get Chris Paul nothing. But I mean, they've been much better this season than last season. But straight out the timeout, here come the Spurs as Devin Vassell will shoot a tough midi, and that's good, and cuts the lead to 2. As here come the Sixers as Maxey is picked up by Sohan. Maxey passes to George. George finds Oubre as Harrison Barnes picks up Oubre, and Oubre passes to George, and George will find Maxey in the corner. Maxey pump fakes, sidesteps, shoots the 3, and that 3-pointer is no good as the Spurs can tie it or take the lead here. As here's Paul, and Paul George picks him up as Chris Paul uses the Harrison Barnes screen as Paul goes down, kicks it out, and Maxey comes crashing in for that rebound as Maxey finds Embiid in transition. Embiid to Maxey, high-low action. Embiid as Sohan is thinking of double teaming, and he deflects the ball out of bounds, so the Sixers will have it side out. And let's see the sideline out of bounds play that the Sixers run right here as Maxey looks to inbound it. And Maxey will find KJ as KJ finds Embiid, and Embiid jabs. Embiid shoots, and that shot is off as the Spurs go the other way. And here's Sohan, number 10, green hair, out to Paul. Oubre picks him up, and Paul drives out to Sohan. Sohan goes up, scores, and will head to the free throw line for one more as he is awarded with the traditional 3-point play. As that was bad defense from Kelly Oubre. That was bad defense. That was bad defense. But he got him in the air, went up, and won. So Sohan can take the lead right here as he has a funny looking free throw as he makes it and puts the Spurs up by 1 as here's Maxey and Sohan picks him up and he finds George. George shoots, misses, and the Spurs can add to their lead right here as Vassell drives and the lob was intercepted as the Sixers go the other way as here's Maxey. Maxey drives, finds Oubre. Oubre back to Maxey. Maxey to Embiid. Embiid down low. Embiid got the mismatch, shoots the one-legged fadeaway, and that shot was way off as the Spurs go the other way. And here's Barnes. Barnes drives, and Barnes out to Vassell. And a whistle was called right there, so that shot will not count. Yeah, smash the like button as y'all come in. Smash the like button as I think KJ was whistled for a foul, but Harrison Barnes will check out and Champagnie will check in for the Spurs as San Antonio looks to inbound. And the Sixers will also bring in some fresh legs as Kyle Lowry and Reggie Jackson get ready to check in for the Sixers. So Oubre and Maxey will likely take a seat. 14-13 Spurs as San Antonio look to inbound it. And Reggie Jackson, with his usual goggles and headband for the Sixers, fell out the rotation, but he'll get a few minutes in here tonight. Yeah, salute, humble. Appreciate you. Happy holidays, bro. Happy holidays. Yeah, y'all beat us. The Cavs, they took care of the Sixers effortlessly. And yo, boy, he talking, he popping his shit. I mean, yo, pop your shit, but hey, to the sports, just slow down, bro. Just slow down. But yeah, shout out to the Cavs. I mean, I had the Cavs as a high seed this year, and they're proving me right for the regular season. But they're playing some good basketball. Shout out to Donovan Mitchell. He should definitely be in the MVP discussions. I don't know why he's not in MVP discussions. Right? He's really sacrificed and trying to uplift the other guys on the team. The Evan Mobley's. Evan Mobley had a monster game, had a monster dunk on Andre Drummond and KJ. But shout out to all those guys. And I also did say that Evan Mobley might be most improved player this year too. So yeah, be on the lookout for him. But yeah, appreciate you, humble. Appreciate you. But back to the Sixers as here's George and Vassell picks him up as George goes between the legs, finds an opening, kicks it out to Embiid. Embiid fakes, goes up, shoots the fadeaway jump shot as he makes it as Embiid is out there with the mask, number 21 for the Sixers. And Embiid's got 7 quick points for the Sixers as here come the Spurs. As Reggie Jackson is on Vassell, and Vassell finds Sohan. Sohan will try a three-pointer, and that three-pointer is no good as the Sixers go the other way, as here's Embiid, finds Lowry. Lowry uses the Embiid screen and finds Embiid. Embiid will post up as Embiid goes up, gets fouled, and he'll head to the charity stripe for 2. As former Sixer player Charles Bassey is on the Spurs, and appreciate you, humble, for the super chat. He says DFJ always grinding, win or lose, always love, fam. Yeah, I was out for 2 weeks, but yeah, we back. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be doing shows, win, lose, or draw. I'm gonna still be here. But yeah, appreciate you. But Embiid at the charity stripe as the Spurs have a 2-point lead, and the Spurs will take on the New York Knicks on Christmas, as I believe they have no business playing on Christmas Day. But um, that's just my opinion. I think Milwaukee and other teams should have definitely had a game, but or Miami, one of those teams should have definitely played on Christmas. But that's a conversation for another time. But here come the Spurs. They'll try a three, and that 3-pointer is off. As the Sixers go the other way, as here's George. George will find Embiid. Embiid jabs. Embiid between the legs. Embiid on Bassie. Embiid kicks it out to Lowry. Lowry pump fakes, goes in, finds KJ, and KJ almost smoked the layup, but was able to get it to go. So the Sixers have a 5-point lead early on in this game. 2 minutes left in the second as Bassie goes up, and that shot rims out. As Embiid will find George. George drives. George goes up, out to Embiid, top of the key. Embiid out to Jackson. And Jackson, high-low action with Embiid. Embiid. And Lowry is unable to control the pass as the ball travels out of bounds, and it will be Spurs basketball. So a quick timeout here as the Sixers have a 5-point lead with a little over 2 minutes left in the first. And the Sixers, the sloppy basketball continues, even though they found some easy opportunities to go. Smash the like button as y'all come in. Smash the like button. Sixers, Spurs. But so far it's been a sloppy game, right? It's been a sloppy, very, very sloppy game. But yeah, let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Are the Sixers playing good? I mean, I think they are letting they're getting wide open looks, but they're just not capitalizing, even though they have a 5-point lead. If they were making shots, they definitely would have had a bigger lead than this. But I mean, the Spurs, credit to the Spurs, they're playing good as well. Um, they're running fast breaks, they're getting back on defense in transition, and they're making things difficult for Embiid. But I mean, Embiid is definitely going to get his stuff off, right? He's definitely going to get his shit off, and it's not nothing that you're gonna have to double team him, right? You're gonna have to send double teams um, at him at all times, right? Even though Wemby's a good defender, but you have to send the double sometimes because Wemby cannot. He's just too bigger, right? He's just too big. But so this should definitely this got to be a revenge game for for Wemby because last time he faced Embiid in the NBA, Embiid really had a career night against him. So I'm expecting Wemby to bounce back in this game right here, even though he's scoreless. But I definitely think it'll change, right? I definitely think it'll change. I think he got to get his ass on the block and get some easy opportunities. But um, Embiid will take a quick seat as the Spurs try to inbound. 2 minutes left in the first as Maxey picks up Castle as Stephon Castle just checked in. Now Wemby goes up, gets blocked by Yabusele as Maxey finds Yabu to Caleb, and Caleb just checked in. And Caleb Martin will drive. He finds Drummond, and Drummond gets rewarded as he catches it, finds Lowry. Lowry pump fakes, goes up, finds Drummond. Drummond goes up and gets blocked by Wemby as the Spurs go the other way. And here come the Spurs as they'll try a three. And that 3-pointer is no good, but they get the rebound, go up, and Castle's able to finish. Here come the Sixers as Castle picks up Maxey. A minute left in the first frame as Maxey uses the Drummond screen. Maxey goes up, and that layup is no good as Wemby gets the rebound. He finds Castle. Castle goes up, lobs it up for Wemby, and Wemby just dropped that jackhammer as the Sixers lead has been cut to 1. As here comes Lowry, and the Sixers can go 2 for 1 from here. As Lowry looking for an opening, as the Sixers try to score, but Caleb Martin's 3-pointer is no good, and the Spurs here's Castle. Castle. And the free throw line jumper is good as the Spurs take the lead. 17 seconds left, and the Sixers will hold for the last shot as Maxey crosses the timeline and Castle picks him up. Yabusele sets the screen, and a foul was called right there. So the Sixers will have it side out with 6 seconds left in the first as the Spurs have a 1-point lead. And Lowry inbounds to Drummond as Lowry goes up and gets blocked by Wemby. And Caleb goes up, gets blocked by Wemby again as the shot clock expired. And that ends the first quarter as Wemby with some good defensive stops to end the first. Yeah, Wemby, his wingspan really helps him a lot, right? His wingspan, it really helps him a lot. He's able to get some easy blocks, like some effortless blocks. All he has to do is just stretch his arms, and he's just blocking shots, right? 4 block shots in the first frame alone for Victor Wembanyama. The Sixers have to have a strong second quarter to try to put this game away early. Now, both teams are not really shooting the 3-pointer that good as the Spurs in the first frame are 1 for 9 from the 3-point line, and the Sixers are 2 for 9 with 3-pointers made by Paul George and Joel Embiid. Yeah, smash that like button, y'all. Smash that like button as the Sixers take on the Spurs ahead of Christmas. And the Sixers really need a victory right here. They really need they need a victory. They gotta get a victory tonight. And I believe they can. Right? I believe they can. But defense gotta get better in transition and also in the half court. Because Chris Paul is just he's making plays for the Spurs, so they gotta get him in check. Chris Paul. All right. So second quarter action as the Sixers are down by 1 point. And to start the second, Caleb Martin drills a 3-pointer and gives the Sixers a 2-point lead as the Spurs look to answer. As here's Castle and Wemby gets it at the top of the key. He tries a shot and cashes in. Tie game at 22. As here's Maxey, and Maxey will give it to Martin as Martin goes up, gets trapped, and the ball ricochets out of bounds, and the Spurs will have possession. As that was good awareness from the Spurs, they found they found Caleb Martin trapped right there, and they got on him. So the Spurs, as Wemby pump fakes, goes up and misses as Yabusele comes up with the rebound. And here's Maxey, transition three. He thought about it as he finds Lowry, and Lowry tries it, misses as Caleb went up for the rebound, but a foul was called. So the Spurs will have it the other way. So here come the Spurs in the half court. And here's Castle, and Maxey picks him up as Castle finds Wemby. And Wemby being guarded by Drummond. And Wemby try to find somebody in the corner, but Caleb Martin stepped in as Maxey goes up, gets fouled, and he'll head to the free throw line for two. That was a good heads-up play from Tyrese Maxey as he got the foul, and Stephon Castle gets called for the foul. As Maxey went up for the bump, could not finish, but gets awarded with free throws. So Maxey at the line. So the Sixers are 3 for 11 from the three so far in this game. And the Spurs continue to struggle from the 3-point line. With the Sixers' 4-point lead as Drummond gets a layup to go, as here come the Spurs. And Chris Paul finds Wemby. Wemby kicks it out to the corner as the Spurs miss a three. And Drummond corrals the miss as here's Maxey. Maxey rejects the screen, goes up, and Wemby was able to recover to get the block as the Spurs go the other way, 5-on-4, as Maxey gets back on defense, and Chris Paul high-low action with Wemby, and Wemby lobs it up. And Keldon Johnson gets it to go. And Keldon Johnson was a young player for the Spurs a few years before they drafted Wemby. But here come the Sixers as Yabusele finds Drummond, and Drummond passes to Oubre as Oubre drives, goes up, and gets the running hook to fall. 4-point lead for the Sixers, 8:40 left in the second frame as the Spurs, as here's Johnson, and Johnson goes up and yams it home as Andre Drummond was too late to stop that play. But the Sixers take it the other way, and here's Oubre. Oubre finds Maxey. Maxey has Chris Paul on him. Maxey tried to find Oubre on a bounce pass, but it gets intercepted as the Spurs go the other way, and Yabusele deflects a pass, so the Spurs will have it on the baseline. Now this was some good recovery from Victor Wembanyama as Maxey was able to drive past him, but was able to recover and block it off the glass as Keldon Johnson had a dunk on the baseline right there. So on the inbounds, Andre Drummond pushes Wemby to the floor, and a foul is called right there. And Drummond can't believe that a foul was called as he was battling for position right there. Yeah, just a slight shove right there. Just a slight shove right there. But Chris Paul will take the technical free throw as Wemby's having words with Drummond, as Drummond is telling him, bro, you flopped on that play right there. So the Spurs will inbound on the baseline, and Wemby goes down again. And this time, they call it on Drummond again. And Drummond is furious that they're giving the Spurs these easy calls as Nick Nurse is telling the officials a piece of his mind. And Wemby's just flopping out there. As Nick Nurse might get tossed from this game as he's been assessed a technical. And yeah, Wemby is the darling of the NBA, so they got to protect him at all costs. They got to give him all the favorable calls. Wemby's the darling of the NBA, so they got to give him the favorable calls. You feel me? But yeah, that's just, come on, you can't be calling this. He's battling for position and down low. Yeah, that should have been a no call. But the officials will go to the monitor and figure out what happened on that play. As Nick Nurse is being calmed down by Bobby Jackson and the rest of the assistant coaches on the bench, as Embiid can't believe what's happening on the floor. Yeah, it was a flop. It was a flop. A straight flop. Bottom line, it was a flop. Yeah, that was a flop. Yeah, flop, 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 flop. So the call was overturned, and the Sixers will take a technical free throw as Maxey takes it and makes it. As Embiid is still on the bench, and Drummond will come back in for the Sixers. But yeah, that was a flop. That right there was a flop. But the Spurs, as Kelly Oubre is telling Drummond to be very disciplined. The Spurs getting ready to inbound. As Chris Paul out to Wemby, and Wemby picks up his dribble as he finds Paul, and Paul goes up out to Wemby. Wemby will try a 3-pointer, and that shot is good. As Wemby finally gets a three to go, as the Sixers go the other way, and here's Yabusele as he finds Maxey, and Johnson picks him up. And Maxey rejects the screen, goes up with the floater, and that floater is good to avoid Wembanyama for the block. As Maxey is really showing his IQ out there. And the Spurs, the ball travels out of bounds, and the Sixers would take it the other way. As Maxey rejected the screen and went up with the floater to avoid Wembanyama. And here's Oubre. Oubre goes up, and Wemby blocks it. And the Sixers will have it on the baseline. Wemby's blocking everything in his path, as he has about 6 blocks so far in this game. And that is impressive. That is so impressive. So Paul George will check in for the Sixers as Yabusele will take a quick seat. But Wemby got 7 blocks so far in this game. And we're only in the first half. So Maxey gets it to go as the Sixers up by 3. And Paul will find Sohan. And Embiid just checked in for the Sixers as the Spurs almost turn it over. But Paul retrieves it. Paul finds Johnson. And Johnson back to Paul. And Paul finds Sohan in the dunker spot. And that layup is good. So they're going back and forth in the second quarter as Embiid will try a 3-pointer. And that 3-pointer is no good as the ball travels out of bounds. And the Spurs will have it the other way. As Embiid is struggling right there with the mask. As San Antonio will call a quick timeout to talk things over. So it's a 1-point game. The Sixers are up by 1 as the Sixers look to win this game here tonight against the Spurs. So we're back from the timeout as there's 6:36 left in the second frame. As here come the Spurs, as here's Sohan, as Wemby runs across the screen, and Sohan finds Wemby. Wemby goes up, gets stripped, and the Sixers go the other way. As here's Kelly, Chris Paul with some quick hands, as Maxey retrieves it, and Maxey backs out, and Maxey will reset for the Sixers, as Embiid is calling for it, and Embiid with Sohan on him. Embiid pushes. Embiid gets triple teamed and still shoots it. And that shot is no good as the Spurs go the other way. As here's Paul. As Paul gets picked up by Oubre. As Paul shoots a three. And that 3-pointer is good. So the Spurs will take a 2-point lead as the Sixers in the half court. As here's Maxey and Sohan picks him up as Embiid is battling down low with Wemby for positioning as Sohan came in for the double team and the ball travels out of bounds and it'll stay with the Sixers. Shout out to my guy, Rap Guy Reloaded. Wemby will destroy Embiid. Yeah, that is not gonna happen. Maybe not tonight. But yeah, shout out to you, bro. Appreciate you. Smash that like button for me. As Paul George would take a pull-up 3-pointer, and that shot is no good. As Paul gets the rebound, and Chris Paul uses the Bassi screen, and Paul finds Sohan back to Paul as Embiid switches onto him, and Paul will shoot the three. And that 3-pointer is no good as Paul George corrals the miss, and Vassell picks up George as George tries to ISO. George uses the Embiid screen. George gets free, goes up, finds Yabusele, and he lost it. As here come the Spurs, as Paul finds Vassell, and Vassell passes to Bassi. He shoots the corner 3-pointer. No good, as Maxey comes up with the miss. And Yabusele will get an easy dunk to go. Shout out to my guy Cottage 81. Appreciate you, Cottage. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. This is a very interesting game, but seems like no team will get to 50 by halftime as Yabusele had an easy pathway to the basket as Maxey found him in transition, and there was no help to stop him. But Yabusele will check out as Kyle Lowry comes in for Maxey and KJ comes in for Yabusele as Paul George catches out to Oubre. Oubre shoots, and that shot goes wide left as Chris Paul comes up with the rebound. And here's Vassell. Vassell drives. Vassell goes up and gets called for the foul as Embiid challenged him at the rim. And Vassell goes down as he's in some sort of pain, but he gets up and will head to the free throw line for two. As Embiid met him right there at the basket. Look, shaking up a little bit, but he'll be good. And the first free throw is good. As Devin Vassell has 8 points, 2 or 3 from the field, and leading all Spurs in scoring. And he cashes in the second as here's Embiid bringing the ball up, and he'll find Lowry as Lowry finds Oubre. Oubre to George as George rejects the screen, and Sohan is on him. George out to Embiid. Embiid will try a 3-pointer, and that three is no good as Paul George flew in for the rebound. Kicks it out to KJ. KJ misses, and the Spurs will go the other way as here's Wemby. and Paul George tried to get the pass, but it went out of bounds as Vassell loses a shoe, and Paul George would try a 3-pointer, and that three is no good, as all their shots are going wide left with George, KJ, and Kelly Oubre. But the Sixers, 4 of 18 from the three, very atrocious shooting a 3-pointer. But here come the Spurs, and Chris Paul passes to Vassell. Vassell finds Wemby. Wemby back to Vassell. Vassell in the midi shoots, and that shot is no good as Paul George comes up with the rebound. Paul George finds Embiid. Embiid goes up, bumpus into Wemby, and an offensive foul was called on Joel. As Wemby is doing it all out there defensively for the Spurs, blocking shots, taking charges, and altering shots at the rim. As Embiid is going back and forth with the officials, as he's assessed with the technical and is still barking at the officials, as he wants all the smoke with the officials, as here's Embiid trying to get to the official, takes the max off. Here's Embiid with words for the official. And the coaching staff have to hold him back as he wants all the smoke with the officials, as he is livid out there. And Bobby Jackson is trying to calm Embiid down as Yabusele steps in his way. And Embiid is so frustrated out there. Wow, that was a fun moment as Embiid is going at the officials. Oh my goodness, that was funny. That right there was funny. Embiid wants all the smoke with the Sixers. But a quick time as the officials look at the play. Salute chat room. Yeah, salute to my guy. Cottage 81. Appreciate you. Are the 76ers overrated? No, I don't think so. And I mean, it depends on where you got them at, to be honest with you. Cause I ain't gonna lie. I mean, the Sixers, I mean, they're not even in the play-in, so I don't know how they can be overrated. But before the season started, with the talent they had on the team, I mean, yeah, people expected them to do something special, but nobody knew that injuries was going to derail this team. So I don't think they're overrated. I think they're properly rated, in my opinion. Properly rated. Yeah, so it all depends, though. I ain't gonna lie, bro. But yeah, smash the like button, y'all. Smash the like button as the Sixers take on the Spurs with Joel Embiid going at the officials. So you can start voting for All Stars this season. Now, I don't think any player from the Sixers should make the All Star team, but because nobody, I mean, Paul George hasn't been playing good, and Embiid ain't played enough games. Maxi's been inconsistent. I think there's a lot of better options out there. So I don't think any player from the Sixers should make the All Star team. But I mean, there's the fan voting, so you might see a few Sixer players being voted for. If they show the results for the first half of the fan voting, but I don't think any Sixer player should make it. Right. There's other better options out there. As far as at the guard position. But it'll be interesting. I want to see those that make the All-Star team. I think France or France, however you want to say it. I think he definitely has to make the All-Star team. Right. Even though he's hurt, he's out with the oblique injury. I believe he should make the All-Star team. As we come back, And Wemby will take a 3-pointer, and that three is no good. As Maxey got the miss, Maxey drives, finds George. George goes up, out to Lowry. Lowry back to George, and George will shoot and makes a three as Jeremy Sohan was all in his airspace, and he was able to cash it. But here come the Spurs as Wemby gets fouled by Yabusele. As Yabusele raises his hand and says, "Yeah, I did it." But the Spurs will take his side out as Paul inbounds it to Sohan, and Sohan will dribble handoff with Vassell as Vassell gets picked up by KJ Martin as Vassell drives. Vassell sidesteps out to Barnes, and Barnes will try a three, and that 3-pointer is no good as KJ got the rebound, passes it to Maxey. Maxey goes up, got stripped, and somebody was called for a foul right there. Was it Vassell? But the Sixers will have a side out. As the Sixers are really small out there, with the tallest player being 6'9", and that is Paul George. But the Sixers inbound, George to KJ, KJ top of the key to YSL, and YSL cashes a 3-pointer, and the Sixers go up by 2. As here come the Spurs, as here's Vassell, as he uses the Wemby screen, and Vassell, George is on him, finds Wemby. Wemby will shoot the midi, and that's good. And ties the game at 41. As here come the Sixers. As here's Maxey, finds KJ. KJ to Yabusele. Selly drives, loses it. And it'll stay with the Sixers. Smash the like button as y'all come in. Smash that like button. As this was some great action from Vassell and Wemby, which nobody can block Wemby's shot, right? Especially on a jump shot, you can't really do anything with it. But the Spurs are over the limit, so Yabusele will get to the line as the first one is good. 42-41, a minute and 32 left in the first frame. As Yabusele looks to put the Sixers up by 2. And he makes it. So Yabusele has 7 points, 2 of 2 from the field. As here come the Spurs, as Wemby will initiate a dribble handoff with Vassell. Vassell kicks it out to Paul. Paul finds Vassell again. Vassell goes up, shoots, and cashes in the mid-range shot as the Sixers go the other way. As here's Maxey, and Lowry screens for him as Maxey back to Lowry. Here's Maxey. Maxey drives, goes up, and the floater is good. 45-43, and we have a minute left in this first half as the Spurs look to capitalize on these last few possessions. As here's Sohan, goes up, as KJ's on him. He shoots, misses, but KJ's called for the foul, and Sohan will head to the line for 2. Now that was a bad call, in my opinion. Just let them play. Let them play. Just let them play. Stop calling these fouls. Sohan has a funny way of shooting free throws, as he don't even dribble it. And he ties it at the line. And here come the Sixers as Maxey finds Selly as Selly shoots and cashes in the 3. As I did say earlier on that no team might crack 50, but I could be wrong as the Sixers have a 3-point lead as Paul goes up, shoots the mid-range shot, And that mid range shot is way off as the Sixers try to hold for the last shot. 7 second shot, 7 seconds between shot clock and game clock as Maxey putting on the moves on Chris Paul. Maxey gets doubled. Maxey gets triple teamed. And that was a shot clock violation as Chris Paul, at his advanced age, is still ball pressuring in year 19. So the Spurs, with 6 seconds to get a shot off, here's Vassell. Vassell finds Barnes. Barnes will shoot. And that three-pointer is way off as the Sixers head into the half with a 3-point lead. As Wemby already has 7 blocks in this game. But the Sixers have been playing around with this team, right? They're just playing around with this team. I think they got to just put this team away, right? Don't play with this team that much. Just try to put them away early. But halftime report. Let me know what y'all think. Did the Sixers play good? I mean, I don't. I don't think so, right? I think they're playing with this team, right? They're just playing with this team, and they have to just put this team away. But so far, Paul George with 9 points. Smash the like button as y'all come in. Smash that like button for me, y'all. Smash that like button. But Paul George with 9 points so far. Hit some big threes. And has some good takes to the basket as well. But Tyrese Maxey leads the Sixers with 11 points, as Joel Embiid has 9 points as well. But Yabusele off the bench has 10 points, and the Sixers are up by 3. As the Sixers, I think one thing they need to do is he says, DFJ, do you 100% believe the Spurs can make the postseason, Brody? I mean, they can make the play-in, but the postseason, I don't think so. I think they lose in the play-in. Right? I think they lose in the play-in. I don't think they're good enough to make the postseason. And, no disrespect to Wemby. I mean, Wemby, second-year player, has, his potential is just through the roof, but I don't think they have enough. Right? I don't think they have enough in terms of, scoring options and guys that are really consistent night in and night out. I don't think they have that. But they're a good competitive team. I'll give them that. Right. I think, Chris Paul, with people saying he elevates every team he's been on. I mean, okay, whatever. Even though the results are still the same, they lose in the playoffs. Right. They lose in the playoffs, but I mean, yeah, he's definitely made this team a much better team. Not just him. I mean, I think the other players have also gotten better. Right. Wemby's getting better. Vassell, Sohan, Castle, like these guys are getting better. I think these guys are getting better. And, adding Harrison Barnes to the team, good veteran piece, right? Very, very experienced, well experienced. Has made multiple postseason runs, like deep postseason runs with the Warriors and other teams. So he knows like what it takes to play at a high level. So, but I don't think they have enough. I don't think they got enough. So no, they're not making it. They might get to the play-in, but not the playoff. The Western Conference is stacked, right? The West is stacked. So it's a lot of good teams that could, a lot of good teams out there. Your Lakers is a good team, right? That might be in the play-in. Right, the Lakers. What other team? I mean, Sacramento, right? Even though they've been up and down, but they can beat the Spurs on any given night, in my opinion. But yeah, this game has been high drama as Drummond, Embiid, and Nick Nurse have gotten into it with the officials. Yo, shout out to my guy Teacher Got Game. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. Yo, DFJ, I hate female referees that are. Yo, that was wild. But I mean, bro, Wemby's the darling in the NBA, so they try to like protect him at all costs. They try to give him the favorable calls and shit. So I mean, we get it. I mean, Bol even said it, right? But I mean, Wemby's just flopping out there. Come on, bro. This is the NBA. Like, what are you doing, bro? He said, "I lost all respect for Wemby." I mean, Wemby, he's a good, talented player, but I mean, come on, bro, you got to be better than that. But this game it's been fun. I mean, Andre Drummond getting into it with the officials, and Embiid getting into it with the officials, and Nick Nurse is getting into it with the officials. Like, god damn. Yo, Embiid wanted all the smoke, bro. Embiid tried to rumble. That's crazy. Yo, Embiid tried to rumble out there, man. That's scattered. But the Sixers got a 3-point lead in this game, but I think they should just put them away, right? You should just try to put this team away. Don't try to play with them at all. But I mean, teacher T, I think you gotta. I mean, Wemby, he doing what's necessary to win. So, I mean, from a fan, from a Sixer fan point of view or perspective, I hate him for it, but I mean, he's trying to be a pest out there. So, but it's just annoying. It's just pissing me off. He said the female referees are smashing Wemby. That's crazy. Yo, that's wild, bro. But yeah, the Sixers 9-17 this season. 8 games. I mean, 8 games under 500. Um, yeah, they have to start piling up wins if they want to if they want to get in the play-in and possibly in the playoffs. I mean, I don't think the Sixers are doing anything in the playoffs, right? I don't think they're doing anything. And I'm gonna do a show tomorrow with on Christmas Eve. I'm gonna do a Sixers show tomorrow. Talking about the Sixers and my thoughts on the team in this season. Shout out to my guy Mike in the building. Appreciate you. Salute. What's going on, gang? What's good? But yeah, I'm gonna do a show tomorrow on the Sixers and giving my thoughts, talking about everything. It's been a while since I was on here. I missed the last 2 weeks, but a lot has happened since the last time I was here. I mean, Jerry McCain gets hurt, right? Meniscus injury, undergoes surgery. He's out for the season. I didn't really see that coming, right? I didn't see that coming. I mean, I got a theory. I think they saw that he was going to win Rookie of the Year, so they had to fake an injury to get him out. I think they really want somebody else to win Rookie of the Year. They can't have Jerry McCain winning it, so they had to fake an injury for him. But nah, that's all jokes though. Wishing Jerry McCain, I'm wishing him a speedy recovery. Yeah. But I mean, a meniscus injury, undergoing surgery. I mean, does it really take that long to recover from that surgical procedure? Because being out for the season on a meniscus tear is just, even though I know there's there are levels of tear, right? I don't think it's what Embiid had, or maybe it could be, right? But it's just the timing, man. The timing is just terrible with all these players missing time for us. With guys being in and out the lineups, and Nick Nurse not knowing who to play. Playing whoever. I mean, he's playing Reggie Jackson right now, right? He's playing Reggie Jackson. Kyle Lowry's playing some good some good minutes, but yeah. But I'm gonna talk about everything tomorrow, right? everything going on with the team, trade targets, who needs to stay, who needs to go. We're gonna break everything down tomorrow. So yeah, but the Sixers got to take care of business right here. You got to put the Spurs away. Now the Spurs, they're a tough team. Don't get it wrong. They have some good pieces on this team. But I mean, I ain't never gonna give them any credit. As long as Chris Paul is on that team, I'm not giving that team no credit. All right, I'm not giving this team no credit. Now I've said in the past, I'm the biggest Chris Paul hater. I'm the biggest Chris Paul hater, and I embrace it. As a player, though, I hate him as a player, not as a human being, not as a person, but as a player, I hate him. But he's just doing some good things for this team. I mean, in year 19, his ability to still be this good offensively, or let me say, in terms of his playmaking ability, him passing, putting guys in easy, putting guys in positions to be successful. Like he's doing it all for this team. So shout out to CP, but I still hate him regardless. But the Sixers have to be smart. They got to be smart. Speaking of CP3, is he better than Tony Parker as a player or as a point guard? As a player, I'm taking, like, bro, you got to understand. I don't like Chris Paul, so I might take almost every player over him, right? But if let's talk basketball right here. In terms of as a complete player, maybe Chris Paul might edge him a little bit with the with how consistent he has been throughout his career, like offensively and defensively. I think Chris Paul can get the edge. But if I'm supposed to pick one player, I'm picking Tony Parker. I'm not taking Chris Paul. So yeah, but I mean, I think Tony Parker's a better scorer. Chris Paul's a better playmaker, passer, facilitator. Defensively, you might edge Chris Paul defensively. He's got some accolades. I mean, I'm not even looking at the accolades to say he's a good defender, but what he does defensively, playing in the passing lanes, being a pest, right? Being a pest, going in for traps, going in for timely stops, stripping guys off the basketball before they go up for layups. Like in his prime, he was doing it all, right? In his prime, he was doing it all. But Tony Parker, like I said, he's a better scorer. I'll give him that. But other than that, what else could you say? Now, I'm not saying he's not good defensively. He's pretty good. He's pretty solid. But I'll just give the edge to Chris Paul. So yeah, I might say that Chris Paul is better. Right, I might say Chris Paul is better. But if you ask me to choose one of the two, I'm going for Tony Parker. And that's just me. I know people are going to disagree, but that's just me. F Chris Paul. Tisha got game says second half we playing no Vaseline and we going berserk on them boys. Yeah, they gotta put this game away because I think they playing with this team like some easy opportunities they're not capitalizing. It's just like, yo, come on, right? Easy opportunities at the rim, and shout out to Wemby. I mean, 7 blocks. That's not that's some Wilt Chamberlain shit, but he's been a good defender for them so far, but they still have to find some opportunities, whether it's in the mid range, from the three, in the middle. Like you got to get something to go right, and Embiid and everybody else, they gotta just calm down, right? Calm down. Gotta calm down. Uh, but you think the Sixers? You think they're gonna win this game tonight? I think they gotta win because I think they're losing on Christmas night. So at least win this one right here. Get this victory right here, because you're gonna lose on Christmas anyway. So just get this victory right here, and we go from there. Because Boston, with they play style, it's just how they playing this season. It just fits with how the Sixers are playing defense. It just benefits their offense. Because the Sixers, they're playing. I think the Sixers. I don't think the Sixers are a no defense. I mean, no middle defensive team. So every time you get in the middle, they try to get the ball out your hands and try to force somebody from the corner to beat you. Which, if you're giving Derek White those looks, he's gonna knock him down every single time. If you're giving Drew Holiday those looks, he's going to make shots. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Sam Hauser, Peyton Pritchard, like these guys are going to feast off corner threes. So the Sixers, they better have a different game plan going up against them. But to start the third, Wemby with 9 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and 7 blocks. He's had a solid game for them, but Jeremy Sohan with 11 points, Devin Vassell with 11 points, but the Sixers miss a shot as Chris Paul is picked up by Maxey as he works off the Wemby screen as he finds a rolling Wemby. Wemby lobs it up to Sohan, and Sohan gets it to go. So they cut the deficit to 1 as here come the Sixers as here's Oubre. Oubre finds Maxey off the screen, catches, shoots, cashes in, and the Sixers go up by 4. As here's Wemby, and Maxey's on him, and Wemby out to Vassell. Wemby pump fakes, and Kelly Oubre fouled him right there as the Spurs will have it side out. Yeah. I'll say Chris Paul over Tony Parker. But here comes Wemby off the screen, catches, shoots, and cashes in. Wow. Got a 7'4" individual coming off a flare screen, going up for a 3. That's just crazy. But here come the Sixers. Here's Oubre, goes up and finishes and puts the Sixers back up by 3. As the Sixers got 5 quick points to start off the second half, as here's Paul, as Paul finds Wemby, and Wemby turns, shoots, and that jumper is short, as here's Paul George in the half court, as Paul George gives it to Yabusele, and Selly has Chris Paul on him, and Selly finds a cut in Caleb, as Caleb passes to Oubre. Oubre shoots, misses, and Yabusele got fouled right there as it'll stay with the Sixers. So George finds Maxey as Maxey has Sohan on him as George is battling for positioning against Harrison Barnes. And Paul George goes up, passes, almost turned it over as Kelly Oubre got blocked by Vassell, but a shot clock violation was called right there. So great defense from the Spurs as they were able to let the Sixers run out the clock, as the Spurs have 9 blocks in this game and the Sixers only have 1. As here's Paul, as Paul finds Sohan in the dunker spot. Sohan keeps his dribble alive, finds Wemby, top of the key. Wemby cashes in a 3, and we're tied at 53. So here come the Sixers as here's Maxey with Vassell on his hip. Sohan on his hip as he finds George. George drives, shoots the mid-range fallaway shot as he cashes in and puts the Sixers up by 2. As here's Vassell. Vassell goes up, gets blocked by Caleb as Wemby hits another three as he's cashed in 4 threes for the Spurs and puts the Spurs up by one. As here's George. George uses the Selly screen as George goes up, gets blocked, and Caleb goes up, gets blocked again, and a foul was called, and Caleb will head to the free throw line for two. As it continues to be a block party for Victor Wembanyama, as he has about 8 blocks or 9 blocks, as he was able to swat Paul George at the rim. And the first free throw is no good for Caleb, as he's only shooting 71% for the season. And so Caleb will split at the free throw line and tie the game at 56, as here come the Spurs, as Chris Paul turns it over, and here come the Sixers, 4-2 opportunity, as Yabusele goes up and finishes, and that could have easily been an and one, but no call, as the Sixers go up by 2, and Yabusele is still flawless from the field. As here come the Spurs, as Harrison Barnes finds Sohan, ball swings to Vassell, and Vassell misses with. As here come the Sixers, here's Maxey, and Maxey's picked up by Paul, as Maxey finds Oubre, out to Selly, as Selly finds George. George somehow, some way was able to keep the dribble alive, kicks it out to Selly, and Selly hits a three, and Yabusele is 5 for 5 from the 3-point line as the Sixers go up by 5 points, and Yabusele's got 15 points. And here come the Spurs, and here's Vassell. Oubre picks up Vassell. Oubre pressuring Vassell as Vassell finds Wemby, as Wemby lobs it up to Sohan, and Sohan is able to cash it in. 7:35 left in the third, and here come the Sixers. Here's George, and Devin Vassell will pick him up as Paul George tried to bulldoze his way to the basket and gets fouled. But here's a great take from Yabusele, as he was able to attack the closeout from Wembanyama, who was looking to close out on him. And Wemby somehow, some way, is still able to recover and still affect the shot, but the shot was able to go through. But here come the Sixers, as Caleb will try a three, and that three-pointer is good as the Sixers go up by 6 points. And here come the Spurs. Here's Paul, as Wemby is at the free throw line extended, and Sohan will post up Paul George, kicks it out to Paul on the slot. Paul will try a three, and that three-pointer is no good as Paul George comes up with the rebound, kicks it out to Caleb, as Caleb drives, stops, out to Selly for three, and he finally misses a shot as Wembanyama came up with the rebound, as here's Sohan, Oubre's on him as Sohan kicks it out to Paul to Vassell in the corner, as Vassell misses the corner three, and Maxey gets the rebound as Maxey pushes. Maxey will try a transition three, and that three-pointer is good and puts the Sixers up by 9, and the Spurs will call time. So the Sixers putting together some good offensive possessions as they go on the run and push the lead to 9 points, as everybody has been a contributor, including George, Caleb Martin, Tyrese Maxey, and especially Gershon Yabusele. You got Tony Parker over Chris Paul. That is interesting. I think that's an unpopular opinion. I don't think anybody's going to agree with that, but because Chris Paul is just more accomplished, right? Now, yeah, Tony Parker has the championships and the Finals MVP, but I mean, if you talk about them individually, I think Chris Paul just edges Tony Parker out a little bit more, in my opinion. Right, as a basketball player, and if you want to include accolades, right? If you include accolades, I think Chris Paul has more. Now, Tony Parker got the championships. Don't get me wrong, but other than the championships and the Finals MVP, like Chris Paul has more All NBA selections, more All Defensive selections, more All Star appearances. Um, has led the league in steals multiple times. Has led the league in assists multiple times. Right. So everything, in my opinion, is in Chris Paul's favor. Right. So yeah, but I guess I don't know what makes you put Tony Parker over Chris Paul. I want to hear that. I definitely want to hear it. But yeah, shout out to my guy Cottage81. Appreciate you. But the Sixers are looking to pull away as the Sixers outscore the Spurs 19-13 in the third, thanks to some 3-pointers that Wembanyama was able to cash in. Wemby hit some tough threes from the corner and above the break. So the Spurs will inbound as they look to overcome a 9-point deficit. As here comes Castle, as Kelly Oubre meets him up with some ball pressure, and Kelly being physical with Castle, as Castle finds Vassell back to Castle. Castle kicks it out to Harrison Barnes, and Barnes shoots it and misses, and the Sixers come up with the miss. As here's Oubre. Oubre goes up, finishes, and one, and he will head to the free throw line for the traditional 3-point play. And Devin Vassell can't believe that he was called for the foul, but Kelly Oubre will have a chance to put the Sixers up by 12, as that was a nice step through from Oubre, as Devin Vassell challenged him but fouled him in the process. And so Kelly Oubre completes the old-fashioned 3-point play as there's 6 minutes left in the third, and the Sixers are up by 12, as here's Castle, and Maxey picks him up as Castle out to Vassell, and the ball ricochets out of bounds, but it'll stay with San Antonio. So the Sixers are on a 15-2 run in the last 3 minutes, as the Spurs look to bring in some fresh legs, as Harrison Barnes will take a seat. Castle inbounds to Sohan. Sohan to Keldon Johnson. Johnson drives out to Vassell. Vassell tries a three, and Kelly Oubre gets the rebound as the Spurs have gone scoreless in the last 2 minutes, as Tyrese Maxey cashes in a 3-pointer as the Sixers look to create enough separation as they're up by 15. And here's Vassell. Vassell out to Castle. Castle putting on the moves. Castle goes up and scores, and that could have been an and one, but no call as the Sixers go the other way. As here's Maxey putting on the dance. Maxey out to KJ. KJ underneath the basket goes up and finishes. As the Sixers have a 15-point lead, and the Spurs are looking to close the gap. As here's Vassell. Vassell drives. Vassell shoots, banks it off the glass, and good. Here come the Sixers, and here's Maxey. As Maxey steps back, shoots the 3-pointer, and it rims out as the Spurs go the other way. And here's Castle, and Castle putting on the moves. Castle goes up, finishes, and one. So KJ will get called for the foul as Castle will head to the charity stripe for the traditional 3-point play. As here's Maxey, who had a 3-pointer to drop momentarily. So Castle with 8 points off the bench as that free throw is good. So the Sixers have a 10-point lead, and the Sixers look to add to it as here's George. And George shoots the midi, misses. Caleb almost went for the putback, but the Spurs go up, and Charles Bassey gets fouled. And Charles Bassey, a former Sixer player who wasn't getting any playing time because Doc Rivers refused to play him, as Maxey will take a seat and Reggie Jackson will check in for Maxey as the Spurs inbound it. And a moving screen was called, and that will be a turnover. So the Spurs have turnovers and the Sixers have 7. 4 minutes left in the third as the Sixers look to add to the lead. And here's Martin, and Vassell picks him up. Now the ball finds its way to George. George goes up, gets fouled, and he will head to the free throw line for 2. So Champagny gets called for the foul as the Sixers look to add to the lead as Paul George is at the free throw line. And the first one is good. Yeah, so this has been a much better half or a much better quarter for the Sixers. The first 2 were not as good, but they have put together some good offensive possessions and are finding some easy looks, and guys are making shots, right? Yabusele's making shots, Maxey's making plays, Paul George is making shots, so you gotta give them credit. But Paul George with 13 points as the Sixers are up by 12, as Castle lobs it up to Wemby, and Wemby got fouled, and he'll head to the free throw line for 2. As this game has started to turn into a free throw contest. So Caleb Martin will check out, and Lowry will check in. But here come the Spurs as Castle puts up the moves. Castle gets it to go and 1. And that was a sweet move from Stephon Castle. But KJ fouled him right there. And that will put him on the line as he converts the traditional 3-point play and cuts the lead to single digits for the Spurs. But here come the Sixers as they look to run a double staggered screen as Yabusele gets called for the illegal screen, and that will be turnover number 8 for the Sixers. 3:20 left in the third as the Spurs look to close this deficit as the Spurs turn it over and the Sixers turn it right back over again as Castle steps into a three, and that three-pointer is good. So the Spurs go on a 13-4 run in the last 2 minutes as the Sixers offense is starting to go cold as Paul George puts on the moves on Keldon Johnson, sidesteps, and gets the shot from the short corner to go. As the Spurs try it, miss, and Wemby just volleyballed it to Keldon Johnson. But the Sixers turn it over again, and the Spurs would take it the other way. But here was George, going between his legs, snatch back dribble, side steps, nothing but the bottom. So the Sixers are up by 8 points as the Spurs take a quick timeout. As the Sixers were almost had a 20-point lead in the third, the Spurs rally back to put together some the Spurs are able to put together some good offensive possessions of their own and chip or close the gap from a 15-point lead to a 9-point lead as the Spurs are still alive and the Sixers cannot let them off the hook. Yeah, smash the like button as y'all come in. Smash that like button. Sixers Spurs as Embiid has been ejected. In case you missed it, yeah, this game was fun, but I don't know why you have to eject somebody. But I mean, it's all good though. The Sixers should still win this one. Even though it ain't no guarantee, but I think they should definitely win this. Right? They should definitely win this. Yeah, I appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Wembeast versus Embeast, as Embeast got ejected. So here come the Spurs as Stephon Castle drives and finishes, and the Sixers need to respond. As here's Jackson, finds Selly, as Selly gives it to Lowry. Lowry passes to Reggie Jackson. He shoots in and out as the Spurs go the other way. As here's Castle, he gets fouled. And no, it was an offensive foul as Kyle Lowry stepped in to take the charge. So the Sixers need to answer to stop the bleeding as the Spurs look to close in the gap. It's only a 6-point lead. And here come the Sixers as the Sixers have Lowry, Jackson, Selly, Martin, and George out there as Paul George tries a 3-pointer short. And the Spurs will go the other way as Johnson goes in, as Castle goes up, misses, and Paul George corrals the miss. And Paul George is picked up by Castle. George goes up out to Jackson, and Paul George got fouled on the initial pass. And the Spurs might be over the limit, so that will put Paul George at the free throw line. So Paul George makes the first one as the Sixers will be in the bonus all the way throughout the third. 1 minute and 12 seconds left in this third quarter as Paul George looks to add to the lead. So he makes them both. 1 minute and 10 left in the third. And here's Wemby. Wemby picked up by Selly as Wemby found Castle. Castle out to Johnson. And Johnson will try a 3. And that 3-pointer is no good as here's Selly. Selly gives it to Jackson. Jackson drives into KJ. And KJ got met at the rim by Champagnie as the Spurs go up. And Wemby got fouled by Kyle Lowry, and Wemby will head to the free throw line for 2. Yeah, Kyle Lowry whacked him upside his head, so that was definitely a foul. But, hey, let him earn it. Make him earn it at the free throw line. As Wemby has 18 points, and the first is good. So Reggie Jackson will check out, and Kelly Oubre will check in for Philly. As Wemby has another free throw left. So he makes them both, and the lead is cut to 6 points as Maxey just checked in for the Sixers. As here's Maxey. Maxey out to Lowry. Lowry will try a 3. And Lowry finally makes a 3-pointer in about 2 months as the Sixers go up by 9, as Wemby will try a 3, and that 3-pointer is no good. And the Sixers can hold for the last shot. As Lowry gets it to Paul George, and George will run down the clock as Champagnie is on him. As Paul George goes between the legs, George gets doubled, finds Lowry. George goes up, and that shot is no good. Ball travels out of bounds. And this should be Sixers basketball with 0.6 of a second left. And that will not be enough to get a shot of. But Lowry will inbound as Maxey shoots way off. But the Sixers head into the fourth with a 9-point lead. Can the Sixers put this away? 1 quarter left for us to see this. And shout out to my guy, One Mike, in the building. Appreciate you. He says, where you been at? Bro, I've been around, bro. I've been around, bro. Yeah, I've been around, bro. Yeah. Yes, sir. But 12 more minutes left to decide who wins this ball game. So I thought you retired. Yo, that's scattered. But nah, bro. I can't retire. So going on in the NBA, there's a few games going on. The Houston Rockets take on the Charlotte Hornets as Cleveland is taking on Utah as Donovan Mitchell faces his former team. The Boston Celtics are taking on the Orlando Magic, and the Atlanta Hawks are playing the Minnesota Timberwolves. Brooklyn takes on Miami. Toronto takes on New York, and the Milwaukee Bucks take on the Chicago Bulls. As there are 14 games in the NBA today going on, because there's no games tomorrow, right? There's no games. Um, there's typically no basketball games on Christmas Eve, so um, teams that play on Christmas, they have a chance to, get some rest and rejuvenate for Christmas night games. So, but yeah, Sixers, Spurs, both teams play on Christmas. As the Sixers will take on the Boston Celtics, and the Spurs will take on the New York Knicks to start off Christmas Day, 12 p.m. Eastern time. So y'all gotta definitely catch that one. I mean, I know I'm gonna definitely watch it. My family's Knicks fan, so I watch a lot of Knicks games. Yeah. Fourth quarter action as Dennis Scott is having a few words with Nick Nurse as the Sixers and the Spurs have one more quarter left. And here come the Spurs, and Johnson tries a corner three, and that is no good as the ball traveled out of bounds, and Champagnie tried to save it, but that was too late. So the Sixers will take it the other way. So here come the Sixers, and here's Maxey as they run a stagger screen for him. He shoots, misses, and the Spurs control it as Paul plays some high-low actions with Wemby, and Caleb Martin is on Wemby as Wemby looks to post up, and Martin gets called for the foul. That was a weak ass. Come on, what are we doing, bro? What are we doing? How you call Caleb for the foul? As Chris Paul gets it in and finds Champagnie, and Champagnie hits a three. So the Sixers lead has been cut to 6 points as here's Caleb as he goes up, kicks it to the corner to Selly, as Selly extra pass to Lowry, and Selly cut baseline, and Lowry was able to find him, and he gets the dunk to go. As that was a good play from Kyle Lowry. I thought he was going to shoot it, but found that nobody was underneath the basket and made a good play for Yabusele. So Chris Paul will shoot the technical free throw as Yabusele hang on the rim for way too much and was assessed a technical. So he can't afford to pick up another technical or else he gets ejected. But here come the Spurs. And here's Paul. Paul. And the Spurs miss a three. And the Sixers take it the other way. As here's Maxey. Maxey being pressured. Finds Oubre. Oubre to Lowry. Lowry drives. Out to Selly. Selly finds Maxey, and Caleb will shoot a corner three and cashes in and puts the Sixers up by 10. That was some good basketball from the Sixers as the Spurs will call time to talk things over as Maxey, Lowry, and Caleb all responsible for that play right there. And Caleb finally makes a shot. Yeah, smash that like button, y'all. Smash that like button. Smash the like button if subbed. Subscribe to DFJ Hoops. This is a Sixer channel. We talk all things basketball, but it's a Sixer channel first, so. But yeah, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all. But yeah, Sixers up by 10. The Spurs will look to talk it over. But can the Sixers win tonight? Let me know what y'all think right down below. The Sixers started shooting the three-pointer very, very poorly, but they've made a couple shots and now have made 14 threes so far in this game and are shooting 39% from the three. Now, thanks to Maxey, Paul George, and Yabusele, as well as Caleb, he's made a couple threes as well. So, shout out to all of them. But the Sixers are getting bench production from mostly Yabusele and Caleb Martin. So, other guys have to chip in. Other guys got to chip in. Now, the game is not over yet. So, the Sixers, they got to continue doing what they've been doing, right? Continue to make shots, try to play not try to play defense, like play some good defense without fouling, which, sometimes sounds a little bit cliche, but play defense without fouling, right? They're giving up a lot of lobs, right? Wemby is just finding Sohan in the dunker spot, and he's just getting these easy lobs to go. So they got to clean that up, right? Got to clean that up. And Stephon Castle's also getting some, easy pathways to the basket, right? They're finding some easy pathways for him, so they gotta, have him in check. But Maxey has been huge for the Sixers so far. 20 points, 8 rebounds, and he's 4 for 9 from the 3-point line. As Maxey is rocking the Pop Smoke braids. So the Spurs, here come the Spurs, and here's Paul, and Paul finds Trey Jones, and Trey Jones dribbles it out of bounds, and the Sixers will take it the other way as the Sixers look to add on to the lead. As here's Maxey, and Trey Jones picks him up as Maxey finds Lowry to Martin back to Maxey to Martin finds Oubre goes in between his legs. Oubre goes up, gets stripped, and loses it out of bounds. And the Spurs will take it the other way. But the Spurs quickly inbound it as here's Keldon Johnson. And Johnson finds Paul as Caleb Martin picks up Chris Paul. As Johnson sets a screen for Paul, Johnson rolls. Johnson in the paint finds Trey Jones. And Trey Jones gets the layup to go and cuts it back to single digits as here come the Sixers. 9:31 left in the fourth as here's Maxey, and Chris Paul will pick him up as Maxey tries to shake off Chris Paul as Maxey plays catch with Lowry as Maxey drives, finds Caleb, and Lowry will try a three-pointer, and that three is no good as Oubre tried to get the rebound, but tipped it up to the shot clock area, and it travels out of bounds. So this defensive possession will be huge for the Sixers if they can get a stop as Caleb meets Chris Paul, and Caleb gets called for the foul, and he can't believe it as Chris Paul is doing what he does best. And this game has been so atrocious. They're just calling fouls. Like they really want the Spurs to win this one. I don't know why, but the Spurs inbounded, and here's Paul, and Lowry's on him. Tried to find Wemby down low, but Wemby lost it as the Sixers on a fast break, and Caleb gets a dunk to go, and the Sixers push the lead up back to 10. But Wemby hits a transition three and cuts it back to single digits. Here come the Sixers, and Maxey finds Oubre on the flip action. As here's Maxey, as Chris Paul is on him. Maxey out to Lowry. Lowry pump fakes, shoots, and cashes in a three and pushes the league back to 10 digits. Back to double digits. As the Spurs answer right back as Champagnie gets the 3-pointer to go from the corner. And here come the Sixers, and here's Maxey. And Maxey posts up Trey Jones, and Maxey gets it back. And Trey Jones fouls him. And Trey Jones cannot believe it. As another look to this Caleb Martin dunk in transition, as Champagnie wanted no parts of it, as he just tucked his head underneath the basket to go the other way. So the Sixers will inbound as Caleb looks to inbound it, and he finds Yabusele, and Selly out to Maxey, and Caleb will try a three, and that three-pointer is no good. And the Spurs batted around, and Chris Paul finally corrals it as Chris Paul finds Champagnie, pump fakes, takes a dribble, shoots, and cashes in. So Champagnie has a couple threes for the Spurs in the fourth quarter as the Sixers are looking to call time, and Nick Nurse wants to talk things over as the Sixers have a 4-point lead, 7:35 left in the fourth, and this could be anybody's game. Yeah, it's been back and forth. It's been back and forth for both teams. But Cottage says, who's better, DFJ, CP3 or John Stockton? Stockton. That's not even a question. The Stockton. Now I'm gonna pick Stockton every time over the Chris Paul. It's not even a question. So the Sixers take a quick timeout as they look to talk things over as they have a 4-point lead with 7:35 left in the fourth. Now, the Spurs have outscored the Sixers 15-10 in this fourth frame. So the Sixers need to intensify the defense. They need to make shots, but Paul George got to get on the floor. You got to have Maxey on the floor. And Yabusele is definitely going to be out there on the floor as well. Yeah, Embiid getting ejected was crazy. But yeah, gets his second ejection in his career. That was wild. But once again, shout out to CP3. Number 2 all time in assists. That's a great accomplishment, right? But Yeah, he's never gonna pass John Stockton. He's not. He's gonna have to play 6 more seasons and average at least 7, 8, 9 assists to pass him, which is not gonna happen. But shout out to Chris Paul, one of the best point guards of his generation. But Sixers inbound it, and Kelly Oubre gets fouled at the rim, and Chris Paul is having a few words with Champagne. But the Sixers will inbound once again, and here's Lowry. Lowry drives, spins, goes up, misses, but Caleb got the rebound as Caleb shoots. And that shot is way short as here come the Spurs. And another foul was called as Chris Paul has really assisted Blake Griffin the most in his career. And David West was second, and followed by JJ Redick and then DeAndre Jordan. But here come the Spurs in the half court as Kelly Oubre picks up Keldon Johnson as Johnson finds Champagnie, and Tyrese Maxey tried to gamble but gets called for the foul. So the Spurs will have a side out once again, and they're trying to score on this possession right here. They're having too many opportunities, and the Sixers have to get a stop right here as here's Vassell. Vassell pokes up Lowry, and he gets fouled. So Devin Vassell will head to the free throw line for 2 to make it a one possession game as there's 6:53 left in the fourth as the Spurs look to close in the gap tonight. And the first free throw for the Spurs is good. Devin Vassell makes the first one. And Devin Vassell is really having himself a good game, right? He's really doing almost everything for the Spurs. Scoring, playmaking, defense, doing it all. But there's 6:53 left, and Paul George is not out there on the floor. Is he out there? Yeah, he is. All right, I thought that was KJ. But here's Maxey. Maxey goes up, and Keldon Johnson got the block. And the Spurs can take the lead or tie it right here as Maxey comes back for the steal. And Maxey finds Martin, and he hands it off to Paul George. George shoots it and misses so badly. And the Spurs take it the other way as here's Chris Paul. And the Sixers have gone scoreless in the last 2 minutes, but Caleb picks up Chris Paul. And Caleb on Chris Paul, and Lowry switches on to him as here's Paul. It's Paul doing the dances, shoots a three-pointer, and puts the Spurs up by 1 as that three-pointer is good, and the Spurs continue to go on a run as the Sixers are not able to get an answer. Now here's Maxey, drives all the way to the basket and finishes as he gives the Sixers the lead once again, as there was no backside help from the Spurs as Maxey got an easy pathway to the basket. Now here comes Paul, and Paul drives. Paul finds Sohan, and Sohan leaves it short, and Paul George comes in for the rebound as Paul George finds Maxey, and Maxey drives. Maxey goes up, and that shot hits the back iron, and the Spurs go the other way as Chris Paul finds a trailing Champagnie, and Caleb Martin steps in to take the charge. That was great defense. Great defense from Caleb. Great defense from Caleb. But that's another turnover for the Spurs as they have almost 15 turnovers so far. But yeah, good heads up play from Caleb Martin. The Sixers can push the lead with this possession right here. As here's Maxey, and Maxey finds George on the slot, and Champagne is on George as George drives, kicks it out to Yabusele in the corner for three, and that shot misses. As the Sixers get back on defense, and Devin Vassell is picked up by George as Wemby is trying to battle for position with Yabusele, and Yabusele switches to Vassell as Vassell goes up, shoots, misses, and Yabusele climbs the ladder for the rebound. As here come the Sixers. Here's Martin. Martin finds Selly. Selly in the middle of the floor. Selly, Maxey drives, goes up, finishes, and gives the Sixers a 3-point lead as there's 4:10 left in the fourth. And here comes Paul, and Paul finds Wemby as Wemby thought about it, gives it back to Paul as Paul is trying to get that rip through foul. And Paul goes up, misses, fights for the rebound, and Paul George comes up with it. And the Sixers go the other way as Maxey finds Kelly Oubre, and he should have waited because he had time and space, but he shoots, and that shot goes wide left. And the Spurs get the rebound. But here's Paul. Paul to Champagne. Champagne shoots, pushes in, and ties the game up at 98 as he's hit 3 threes in the fourth quarter, and the Sixers have to keep an eye on him. But Tyrese Maxey calls time as both teams looked to be gassed, as Chris Paul has 0 gas left in his tank, as those old bones are on display. Oh my God. But that was a great sequence, and that last shot that Kelly Oubre had, he should have waited because he had time, he had space, and he should have drove it. Right? No need to take a three. You don't need a 3-pointer. Right? You're up 3. You don't need a 3, bro. All he had to do was pump fake, drive, and try to power dunk it over whoever was underneath the basket. Now, depending on if they lose, depending on how it goes, Kelly Oubre, that was a terrible, terrible, terrible play. Yeah, I'm picking John Stockton. I don't like Chris Paul, so I would never pick Chris Paul. But a few minutes left in this fourth as the Sixers are trying to hold on to get this victory. But Maxey will inbound for the Sixers as he finds PG in the corner, and PG drives, goes up, reverse layup, and one. And Paul George will head to the free throw line for one more. As that was a good play from Paul George. You don't always need a 3. Sometimes you have to pump fake, drive down the baseline, and see what options you got down there. As Paul George drove down the baseline with the reverse layup, and Chris Paul caught him on the arm. But the Spurs would challenge whether or not it was a foul. So both teams can talk things out as the officials look to review the play one more. But it definitely was a foul. He was caught on the forearm, so he has to get to the free throw line. He gotta go to the free throw line. Yeah, smash that like button, y'all. Smash that like button. Can the Sixers win this game tonight? Let me know what y'all think. Let me know what y'all think. So it was indeed a foul, and Paul George will head to the line, and he misses the free throw. So Sixers up by 2, and here's Paul, and Martin picks him up as Wemby fades to the corner and shoots a 3 and makes it, and the Spurs go up by 1. So Wemby has been making a few threes in this game, as he has at least 5 made threes in this one, as Paul George gets it at the pinch post. Skip pass to Maxey. Maxey goes up and leaves us short, and the Spurs will go the other way, but Maxey has to get back. Can't afford to give up a 3, as Vassell shoots and misses, and Maxey gets it as Maxey drives. Maxey goes up and finishes and gives the Sixers the lead one more time. So the Spurs look to set up in the half court as Vassell is picked up by Caleb Martin, and Vassell finds Champagnie, and Champagnie uses the Wemby screen as Wemby is on the slot. Yabusele is on them, fades, shoots, misses, and Paul George corrals the miss. And the Sixers can push the lead right here, as they don't really need a three-pointer. Try to get a decent look as Maxey passes to Paul George on the box, and Paul spins, shoots, and that jumper was no good. That was a terrible shot from Paul George. You could have got a much better look than that, especially with Chris Paul on you. But here come the Spurs, and Paul on Paul, as PG picks up CP, and CP goes behind the back. CP drives, pushes off, and Paul George is on them, shoots, and he makes the mid-range shot and puts the Spurs up by 1 and stares down PG, and PG definitely got to get him back. And here's Maxey. Uses the Paul George screen. Maxey shoots a 3, and that three-pointer is no good, as the Sixers did not need a 3, but Maxey gambles, gets a steal, goes up and dunks it home, and gets called, and will head to the free throw line for one more. Yeah, Maxey just caught a body down low as Champagnie tried to contest him at the rim, and Maxey did not care who was there, still went up strong with the left hand. Yeah, you don't really see Maxey showing that much emotion, but he had to get something out as he got that dunk over Champagnie. And Maxey misses the free throw, and Yabusele gets it, and the Sixers have an extra possession, and Tyrese Maxey will reset for the Sixers. Now they switch as Maxey's trying to get the favorable matchup as Maxey drives, and a kickball is called. Yeah, this has been a good game. I did not expect this game to be this good, but yeah. I mean, Wemby making threes, blocking shots, Sixers making shots, playing defense. I was not expecting this, but Paul George will inbound for the Sixers with 39 seconds left in the fourth. Sixers up by 1, and the Sixers really need this possession as Maxey steps back, and that right there is the dagger and puts the Sixers up by 4. This Maxey hits a huge 3 and puts the Sixers up by 4, and the Spurs will call time. Now, I was going to say that that's a bad shot. Don't get me wrong. That was a bad shot, but sometimes bad shots do go in, right? Because in that moment, you don't really need a three-pointer, especially from 30 feet out. That's a bad shot, but sometimes bad shots go in, so it doesn't even matter. But when the Spurs come back, everybody in the arena should know that inbounds pass is going to Wembanyama, right? They're going to put him on the block, and they're going to enter the ball to him. So if I know this, Nick Nurse should know this, and everybody else on the Sixers coaching staff should know this. So this defensive possession is going to be huge, right? It's going to be huge. But also, don't keep in mind, Champagne has been making some threes, so I wouldn't be surprised if they run some action to get Champagne wide open. But let's see what the Spurs run when they get back. As Maxey crosses Sohan over, sidesteps, and hits a huge three-pointer. So Vassell will inbound, as this is definitely bad, as Wembanyama catches almost 30 feet out, gives it to Chris Paul. Chris Paul shoots, misses, and Maxey comes up with the rebound as Maxey gets fouled, and Wembanyama fouled him with 17 seconds left, and Maxey will head to the free throw line to put the finishing touches on. Yeah, Maxey has been huge for the Sixers tonight. Making plays, grabbing rebounds. He definitely has double-digit rebounds, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not looking at the stats, but he's gotten some tough rebounds tonight. Flying in and getting these rebounds. He's doing it all for the Sixers tonight. So yeah, Maxey's got 10 rebounds. So the first free throw is good, and it's a two possession game, and Maxey will have a chance for one more. The second one is no good, but Kelly Oubre picks it up and finishes, and the Sixers go up by 7 points. And it's safe to say that the Sixers will win this, but here's Champagne, tries a three-pointer. Three's good. Cuts the lead to 4. As here's Kelly. Kelly gets fouled with 6 seconds left. And Kelly has to make at least one free throw to help the Sixers. At least one. The Spurs have a timeout left. Now, who knows if they're going to call a timeout, but, I mean, will it matter? Because the game is over at this point. So the first free throw is good, as Nick Nurse has a smirk on his face as the Sixers are about to win. And the second one is no good, but Chris Paul gets the rebound. Paul finds Champagne, and that three-pointer is no good. And the Sixers will hold on to win 111 to 106. Joel Embiid got ejected. Paul George, Maxey, and everybody else put on a very good performance as the Sixers win tonight and improve to 10-17 this season. Yeah, that's the game right there. That is the game right there. A great game. I felt like they were playing. With this team in the first half, right? But they came out in the second half. They took care of business, and they're able to get this win. But great performance from both teams, right? Great performance. I expected Wembanyama to do what he did tonight. 26 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 blocks. Right, 8 blocks. He was doing it. He was doing it all for the Spurs, but he made a lot of threes. Right, made a lot of threes. 6 3-point made from Wembanyama. That's impressive. Right, that is so impressive. But shout out to the other guys. Shout out to Sohan. Shout out to Devin Vassell, and shout out to CP. CP is doing a huge thing for the Spurs, but they had some guys come off the bench as well. Stephon Castle, Champagne, Keldon Johnson, and Trey Jones. right? These guys really played hard tonight. They played hard tonight on both sides of the floor. But yeah, let's go to the Sixers and let's see what the Sixers did on the other side. So, Paul George, right, who has been struggling in the last few games, he really stepped up huge for the Sixers. Um, let me put the box score right here. The Sixers right there. So Paul George, um, not efficient, right? 6 for 16, 6 of 16 from the field. Um, but he gave you 19 points, gave you 4 assists, and he did play some good defense as well, right? He played some good defense. So, and he was doing it rebounding wise as well. So, shot at PG, 19 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists. That's a excuse me, but that's a good, yeah, that's a good performance, even though he wasn't efficient. But yeah, let's go to Kelly Oubre. Kelly Oubre, 36 minutes, 4 for 12 from the field, 0 for 6 from the three. But he got to the free throw line 3 times. He finished with 10 points, 10 points and 6 rebounds. Right, good, good performance, and he plays some good defense too. So you got to give him credit, right? And Joel Embiid did not, he got ejected, so which was surprising. That was so surprising, but nonetheless, the Sixers are still able to hold on to win. But Joel Embiid 2 for 8 from the field, 9 points, 2 turnovers, 2 steals, 3 rebounds. He definitely would have had a much better game, if he was out there, right? If he played enough minutes, but yeah, KJ played some good defense, right? Got some rebounds, boxing out. He did a solid job on Wemby, but I mean it's not too much you can do on Wembanyama, especially if you're 6'7". So play some good defense. But let's go to the bench production as well. As Gershon Yabusele came off the bench and gave the Sixers 17 points. 3 for 5 from the 3-point line, right? Giving you 17 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 steals, 1 block, two fouls. I mean, those fouls, those moving screens, those offensive fouls, he has to he got to be disciplined sometimes, right? He got to be disciplined. And then Caleb Martin, right? Caleb, 12 points off the bench, right? Caleb gave you 12 points. He made what, 3 threes right there? So 3 threes, got to the free throw line, right? And he had a dunk as well, right? He had a dunk going baseline. So, Caleb played a good game. He did good defensively as well, in my opinion. Guarding Chris Paul. Now he got called for some fluke fouls. Chris Paul, that's what he does, right? Getting these rip throughs and these petty foul calls. So I wasn't even surprised. But player of the game, obviously Tyrese Maxey, giving you 32 points, 10 rebounds and 8 assists, right? With a few turnovers right there. So he did it all for the Sixers. And Maxey got lucky because that last shot right there, had he had missed it, the Sixers probably would have lost this one, right? But he had the confidence that he could make it, so he stepped up, he took the shot, and he made the shot. So, got to give Maxey credit, and he was getting some tough rebounds, some tough defensive rebounds, like flying in and just snatching the ball from these guys, right? Not letting them get these offensive rebounds. So, shout to Tyrese Maxey. Shout to, great team performance from everybody else. Andre Drummond, in the limited minutes that he played, right, he gave you, some decent production, right? But those 2 fouls, that was just, I mean, Wemby, you got to do better, bro. You got to be better. Wembanyama has to do better, right? Wemby has to do better. But yeah, that's all I got. This was definitely a good game for the Sixers. Now the Sixers take on the Boston Celtics on Christmas. I don't think they are gonna win that one. I don't think so. Right. I don't think they're gonna win that one. Right. I think Boston will probably blow them out on Christmas. Right. It'll probably be a blowout loss. But yeah, I don't think anybody is not. I don't think anybody else is not gonna play. Only Jared McCain. I think everybody else is gonna play. I think Embiid, Paul George, Maxey, yeah, they all gonna be out there. So, um, yeah, just after tonight, after addressing the media, just get on the train, go to Boston, right? You get on the train, go to Boston, and get as much rest as you can because Boston is gonna run y'all out the gym. Right, the Celtics they gonna run the Sixers out the gym. But yeah, around the league, so the Magic beat I mean the Celtics, my fault. The Magic are gonna beat the Celtics 108-104. So the Celtics just lost. So they are definitely gonna try to get a victory on Christmas. Right. And they typically don't lose on Christmas. I mean, they played the Lakers, they beat the Lakers. They played the Bucks a few years ago. They beat the Bucks. They typically win on Christmas. And the Sixers, on the other hand, they don't really not so much, right? The Sixers got blown off the floor last Christmas game against the Miami Heat, right? No Embiid, no Jimmy Butler, but they still lost. So the Sixers they gotta change my mind on Christmas. But yeah, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all. Shout out to once again, shout out to my guy Humble with the super chat. Appreciate it. Now, Tune in Sports, he has been running, but I'm gonna definitely catch him. But yeah, shout out to my guy Humble Man 420. Shout out to Cottage 81. Shout out to Teacher Guy Game. Shout out to One Mike. Shout out to the other Mike as well who stopped by to chop it up with me. You know, I appreciate y'all. Shout out to my guy Rap Guy Reloaded. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate y'all. I have a show coming tomorrow on Christmas Eve, so y'all gotta tune in. Y'all gotta tune in and listen to this, right? We're gonna address everything with the Sixers, right? The roster, inconsistencies in the roster, players being in and out, injuries, whatever. Joel Embiid, Paul George, right? We're gonna break everything down tomorrow. So I need y'all to tune in tomorrow. But yeah, this was a great one. This was a fun game. I really enjoyed this one. I mean, the Embiid ejection was not that necessary, but these guys they had a different plan, so can't really fight it. But Maxey really stepped up huge for us once again and put the game away. So shout out to Tyrese Maxey. And Tune in Sports, you said that Darius Garland was better than Maxey, but I disagree. I disagree, bro. I disagree. But yeah, great game. But yeah, Maxey with the nasty dunk. Damn. With the left hand too. That was tough. That was tough. Damn. So the dunk, the dagger, man, Maxey did it all for the Sixers. But yeah, this should be a good win. They're finally in double digits in terms of wins. So, shots to the Sixers. You know, hopefully they can win a few more games. I mean, if they beat the Celtics, I'll be impressed that the Sixers will go on a very impressive run, right? Where they're going to rack up a lot of wins. If they can beat the Celtics on Christmas. Now, if they don't, I'm not going to be surprised. Right. So, I'm going to end this right here. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all. This was a fun one. Got a show tomorrow. So, y'all should definitely tune in. Right? Y'all should definitely tune in. I was out for 2 weeks, but back here. And hey, let's get it. Let's talk some Sixers basketball. Let's talk some Sixers hoops. That's what I'm here for. Right? That's what I'm here for. So trade targets, who the Sixers should get rid of, what you think of the team, the players, the whole like everything. Like let's talk about it tomorrow. So yeah, I'm gonna drop the link. So if y'all want to tune in or join the show, y'all can give me y'all thoughts. But appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. Peace.